like I actually have a good story, like in terms of the comic about being online versus talking to a person one
Mm,
on one. Like when I was first posting on Reddit, it was brutal. Like
mm,
it either did very well or very poorly, and
mm,
it was starting to be shared. And then I got a random message at like 2 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey, I think you should see this because someone posted your comic and they're just dragging you."
mm,
And I clicked on it and it was doing like it was front page and it had thousands of comments, but the OP was he was insulting me as a person. Like I'll give him that the comic was shit. Like it was not a good comic. It was my early work. It was not great. It was very basic, but they started talking about me, how I looked, how I talked, and I was sobbing.
oh my gosh.
And it just was not it wasn't a feel good moment. But then I just had a thought, I'm like, I'm gonna award this motherfucker. So I paid $6 or $10 or whatever you had to pay for Reddit to give an award, and I gave him platinum. And
Hmm.
when you give someone an award on Reddit, it is sent anonymously unless you include your name or they respond back to you saying thanks or whatever, then they'll see it. So they got the platinum. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is my first award. I really appreciate it. Made my day. And I just wrote back, you're welcome. Have a wonderful night. And then he saw it was me. And then that's when he's like, shit. And he's like, I'm sorry. In my defense, it's not a good comic, but I really didn't mean to hurt you. And touche for sending me an award and doing blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it's totally cool. I agree. It's a shit comic, but like, you hurt me, dude. You made fun of
Mm,
how I looked. And I get
mm,
it. Like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not my own cup of tea some days, but like, it fucked me up for a bit.
yeah.
But like, we had a conversation and he took down the
Mm,
post, and it was just like talking to someone on a human level instead of like pegging a target, if that makes sense,
mm,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
So I try to kill them with kindness. Like that's my motto. Even if I have to like smother them with a heart pillow. Like
That's a great. I don't know if you have a comic that is that already, but I feel like that's one that you gotta have because that's
a
pretty funny.
very, very, very early one that I took down because I thought I would get banned for it. but
It's so
but
funny.
yeah, just talking to people as people and then realizing, shit, I can't say that because if you were willing to say that to someone's face,
Hmm.
you're you're an awful person. And
Hmm.
most people aren't. And we just forget that because we're responding to a little screen
Hmm.
instead of a human.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know there's a lot of like basketball players or athletes in general will say something to the extent of like that like you would never say this to my face because I would punch you, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you're behind Twitter, and I'm Mr. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's like, well, yeah, like you're just this anonymous blob that is just going to say whatever you want because there's no person. Yeah, I'm curious with the platinum exchange. Was that something that you like just came to on your own? Did you like go to friends and like get support and you're like, yeah, that's what you should do? Like, how did you come up with that? Because I would not have thought to do that, and I think that's a really cool story.
It was on my own because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and my husband came home like an hour later because he was bartending at the time and he gets home
Mhm.
late. So I was just sitting there, like reading comments, feeling sorry about myself. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to give him an award and make him feel shitty. Like I didn't have good intentions either. Like I really didn't. But like
Uh-huh.
after having the conversation, like I don't hate that person. Like I actually
Hmm.
wish I saved our conversation because it was
Hmm.
very meaningful.
Hmm.
But we both came from like selfish sides. And I just took the upper hand because I spent money. So I'm the dumbass.
Did
But
you think it would
yeah,
lead to a conversation, or was it? Did you just like kind of
I
just
was
want to
really
troll him
hoping.
underneath it?
I
Yeah.
think at the time I was really hoping he would respond so I could do the unmasking, like, haha, you know? But
Mm,
on the flip side, I was also thinking, well, it's already doing well. If I award it, it's going to do even better. Even if they're shitting on me, no press is bad press. So someone's going to
mhm,
see the comic and they're going to like it,
mhm.
even if everyone else is shitting on it. My name will get out there.
Yeah.
So I don't I must have been drunk, man. Like I don't think I was drinking that night, but I was just like in a fuck it kind of attitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Did that moment? Do you feel like that created like more like almost like online resilience for yourself of just kind of being like, I really don't care what people on the internet feel about me anymore? Or was there any sort of like a breakthrough in that?
Yes and no. I think it was like my first layer of a thicker skin
Hmm.
because I've gotten of
Hmm.
a lot of feedback, and some of it has not been pleasant, especially like on Reddit or Twitter,
Hmm.
where moderating comments are up either to the mods of the subreddit or just not there at all. Like you can say
Hmm.
whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not like actually threatening them, you know?
Right.
But I do think it was a turning point where it's like, you know what? No matter what I do, not everyone's going to like me. I'm putting myself out there sexually, which kind of puts me on like a bigger target in the first
Hmm.
place because people are going to make assumptions,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But I need to get over it. Like, there's so much stuff out there, anyways. Like, I might as well just be authentic because no one, I won't be loved by everyone, you know? And I
Hmm.
know I can't draw hands. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I still can't draw hands.
I would
Um,
never even think about that. So I can't draw at all. So the fact that you can draw anything is a marvel to me.
like, I'm dyslexic too. So when people point out, like, you drew this guy's hand backwards, I'm like, fuck, you're right. I'm like, but I wasn't thinking.